Dark Satellite Media.
Hey, welcome to Red River, fucking best of 2020. The first time we're doing a full Zoom just because I figured it's just easier to do it this way since I wanted to involve other people on the list. We'll have 4 guests peeking in individually. At the moment, we have Steve Andolfo waiting to talk about favorite movies. But yeah, man, what a year.
Yeah. Interesting. One for the books. I tell you, the content, tons of stuff on every, movies, music, outstanding stuff. I'm next year, I think it'll be the real curious thing because of productions being shut down and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, we were flooded with good stuff this year.
We were flooded with good stuff. I'm like making my list of it's just everything that I watched because I mean, you figure we were all for the most part sitting at home. So we, like me personally, I watched a ton more stuff that I normally would have gotten the time or chance to.
I didn't get the quarantine, but I still managed to watch. Like my life didn't change at all, unfortunately.
Mine
I would have liked a month to just, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm blessed. I was working, no complaints.
Sadly, my life did change. I went from being busy 8 days a week to, luckily doing one thing a week maybe.
Yeah, but you needed a break. You do too much.
I like it. I feel like I'm dying if I don't. You're a dad. Parker's a dad. I don't know where the fuck he is. Is that his head over there?
I'm here. Yeah, fuck that, man. I'm fucking staying fucking neutral over here.
Did you go more gray or what?
I don't think he can get more gray. Maybe fucking down below. That's about it.
You see the top of his head.
Yeah, I see the top of your head. It looks like a snowball, like the
nice
cup, the thingies.
That's what having a kid does.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. The last bit of it just turned.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so we're ready to. Is there anything else that we want to mention before we start getting into these lists? Like, did we miss anything? Or
miss shows. Miss shows.
Huh?
That I just missed live shows.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my biggest miss of this year. But I mean, there's a ton of entertainment, at least in this, if we had to be a quarantine age, whatever, there's a ton of entertainment. Great podcast got me through.
Yeah. I'm going to mention those later on for sure. Because there's a couple of, there's one show in particular that I thought really knocked it out of the park this year. But all right, I'm going to add Steve right now. See if he's ready.
I've never talked to him in real life.
Oh man. You do know of him. So.
The hammer, the truth hammer.
The hammer. What's up? Unmute yourself. There you go.
Now I'm unmuted. What's up?
Yes.
What up?
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've been on the internet before.
That's right. Yo, you know what I was watching today? Somebody posted a video of the time Small Arms Dealer played Beeries, like the last time I think you came out and like Joe Ciotto played drums.
Yeah. We said we were never gonna get back together except for Steph's 21st birthday or something.
Yeah.
And so we did it. And
Did do it.
it was
man.
terrible.
So, when you and I did the episode together, so you were never on with Langan up there, but of him.
No. Now we're together.
Yes, this is the first real live conversation we've ever had.
Yeah.
He says he's a little upset that you don't have your sledgehammer.
I mean, I could go get a hammer. I've got hammers.
And you see that little white hair up there that kind of looks like Whoopi Goldberg dreads. This dude is like, I mean, you know, he doesn't want to be on camera, which is strange.
Nah, man.
We're not using the audio. We're not using the video. We're using.
That's like that shit looks like fucking Whoopi Goldberg and Burglar right there.
Yeah. All right, listen. I don't think Steve's gonna fuck you either, so we're good.
I wasn't gonna, but now that it's been suggested.
Yo, show us your RoboCop tattoo.
This one.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Parker?
That's fucking sick. I'm RoboCop 2 like all the way though.
Yeah, no, RoboCop 2 is 100% a great movie. I don't know why people don't. And you know what? In the later years of my life, I've realized that RoboCop 3 is not a bad movie. Yes, it was made to sell toys, but like RoboCop 3 is all about like him smashing fascism. It's fucking great.
I gotta revisit it. No Peter Weller just kind of lost me. I'm sure I watched it once.
Oh yeah, no, that's the main thing is if you don't have Peter Weller, fuck right off. And the TV series, it seemed like the suit itself was too big for the guy that they had playing RoboCop in the TV series. So you'd sometimes get a shot of the suit and it looked just loose.
Yeah.
It was just kind of hanging off the dude.
That's crazy.
So,
all right. So you're ready to go because you got your Carrie T-shirt on. So we're going to talk about, there was a lot of movies. I really, the more I tried to like get this list down, I realized that there was a lot of movies that I enjoyed. I know me and Langan disagreed on a few things. I know.
No, we're usually lockstep, but like we're like way different. But that's a good thing.
Me and Steve definitely. But so
yeah, I'm sure that there's a bunch that we disagree on as well. Plus, like trying to get mine down to 5. Like I still have like 11 up here, and I'm gonna have to try to condense movies.
You throw out some honorable mentions for sure.
So I had 15, but so we'll do 10 to 6 rapid fire, and then we'll do round robin. So you're the guest. Thank you for returning to hang out with us. So give us 10 to 6 rapid fire.
Whew. All right, let's see. So Rent-A-Pal, Greener Grass. Rent-A-Pal was something nobody actually saw. So
that's up on Hulu right now.
It is, and so is Greener Grass, which is an absurdist comedy, which is fantastic. Color Out of Space, and The Five Bloods, I think, was my. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, The Five Bloods, and then like the Dark and the Wicked, and Anything for Jackson.
Okay. So that's your rapid fire. Did anyone of you guys have those on your list?
I did not have those, but I did jot them down actually. Greener Grass, absurdist comedy, had me there, but I didn't have those.
Yeah, no, Greener Grass. It starts off with a woman deciding that she gives her baby to another woman in this like weird gated community of like everything's the same. It's got what's his name from Saturday Night Live, Beck Bennett from Saturday Night Live, and if you saw that Wolf of Snow Hollow,
oh yeah,
the dude who directed that, the main dude in that movie is also in Greener Grass. If that'll give you an idea of how absurdist it is.
Yes, that's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna mention that movie later on. But Parker, you didn't have any of those on your list, right? That he mentioned.
No, I mean, let's be honest. Like this category is probably like compared to like my best hip hop of the year. Like, there's going to be my worst category out of the entire show. Like I think I saw maybe like 4 new movies this year.
Okay, and I'm sure they made the list.
Okay, so we got for me, I had the new Borat movie. Saw that. Sound of Metal. I just actually watched.
This is your list?
Is this your? No.
This is what I watched that's new from this year.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that list right now. Okay. We're doing the rapid fire honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Okay.
So you don't have any.
No, because then I'll have no list if I do the honorable mention.
That's fine. All right. So I'm gonna do. So Lang, you give me your 10 to 6.
I just hate like if any of these are on your list or anything like that. But I would. I'm gonna say,
Got a lot of feelings here, huh?
The Hunt, King of Staten Island, Possessor, Sound of Metal, and The Social Dilemma. I thought were all good films.
Okay, so that's your honorable mentions. Cool. I don't remember The Social Dilemma. What was that?
It's basically just about social media.
Oh, the documentary.
How they work, the documentary and stuff like that. And especially, I would encourage any parent to, especially if a teenager, you could see knowledge dropping.
Yes, it was like the addiction part of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, my 10 to 6, I have VFW. I have Color Out of Space, which is that a Nicolas Cage movie. Richard Stanley, which I thought was great. Number 8 is a movie that I know Steve hated, The Witch Subversion, which is up on Netflix right now.
I didn't hate that movie.
Yeah.
I felt that it had 2 hours of premise that you're like, yeah, this could be cool. All right. I get where you're going here. And then it had a smash awesome half hour of the last half hour of it. And you're like, why didn't you do that like a half hour ago?
All right. But
like you could do 1 hour of straight movie, 1 hour of bug nuts.
You thought The Witch was good, though, right?
We'll just set up a sequel. It's fine.
You thought The Witch was a good movie, though, right? It was like 90 minutes of setup and like 2 minutes of good movie.
Listen, that movie is great all the way through, and also it's mainly because you can't have a goat on the set and expect the goat to do things.
Okay.
That was the best part of the movie.
The last 2.
Yeah, apparently the goat was supposed to be in the movie more, but
Should have
the goat
been.
did not cooperate.
He was the best part.
I would have rather just the camera follow the goat around, see what happens, see what he eats. You know what I'm saying?
I will forever hate that movie. Sorry. So 7, I have Bill and Ted Face the Music, which I feel like a lot of people might have forgotten.
It was,
go ahead.
Go ahead. It was on my list, but like at the same time, like I couldn't whittle it down to that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe if there wasn't a pandemic, I would have graded it a little differently. It just felt like a movie that I really needed to see. The ending was so fulfilling. I don't know. It just made me feel really good, which is
yeah, but I feel like that's why it was good for the pandemic, is because when it dropped, you were like, I need something real positive right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it came
it's
at the
goofy
right time.
fun.
It came at the right time. And the last one, which is a movie that should have made my top 5, and it was hard to leave it off, was Vivarium, with Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots, whose name I fucking hate. But it's such a dark movie, and I can't really give out the premise because it's I feel like it's hard to explain without actually giving away what it's about. But man, it's a really dark movie, really depressing, and it's not a very feel-good movie. And I hated leaving it off, but it's at a strong number 6 right now.
What's the name of that again?
Fantastic movie.
Vivarium. That's I think it's up on Amazon Prime right now. So, all right. So listen, there was a lot of good stuff. That brings us to let's do our round robin here, and let's talk about our top 5, and really get into it. So, Steve, give me your number 5.
My number 5 is Emma.
Okay, I don't know it.
Yeah. Emma is the I'm gonna seem like the weirdest dude right now. Emma is the adaptation of who's it? Jane. Hold on, let me just Jane Austen. Yes, it's a Jane Austen book, and they've made Emma several times, but this one stars Anna Taylor-Joy and
Love her
from the titular witch that we spoke about before. Who I think is having a great year as far as making
great
really
year,
quality.
absolutely.
Yeah. But Emma is just one of those, it's a period piece. It's 1800s England, but it's one of those movies where the comedy is so on point, and the big spectacle of costumes and sets are all really great there. It's very rare I put something this like hoity-toity on a list, but I believe that Emma is one of the best movies of the year. Like it's definitely a movie that if you put it on to watch it, you will enjoy it the whole way through, and then it'll be over and you'll be like, oh yeah, I feel good now.
Okay, good. Is it streaming anywhere?
Actually on HBO Max.
HBO Max. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of her work. She was in a movie called Thoroughbreds, which I really thought was dark and great.
Great movie.
People love The Queen's Gambit this year. She smoked it on that. Like all across the board, like that was a TV show everyone loved.
She was even in New Mutants. New Mutants, the movie that doesn't exist but exists, which like was a pretty good movie for a movie that has been cut like 5 or 6 different times. So like you can't expect much out of it, but her performance was great.
Yeah, she's having a good year, and I love watching her talk in Spanish because she's half Argentinian. So Langan, give me your number 5.
My number 5 was Deerskin by Quentin Dupeau. I'm not gonna pronounce his name right. The guy that did Rubber and
Wow. Okay.
I've just been a Reality was another good one. Wrong. Everything this guy puts out is always on my radar. He takes chances. This film, when I describe it to you, it's a guy who's essentially he's obsessed with deerskin clothes, jacket, this and that. Eventually, his obsession turns to crime, murder, all kinds of debauchery. And it's absurdist. It's ridiculous, like anything you'd expect from this director. Definitely not for everybody. But if you're on board with the kind of stuff he does, it doesn't disappoint. It's
okay.
And it's got subtitles. If you don't like it, you can't read. So
why does
it's Deerskin. That's
why does it have subtitles?
It's French.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I won't be watching that then.
But no, you either like this guy's work or you don't.
I like Rubber a lot.
Yeah, but it's absurd. It's what you'd expect from him.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to see it, but I've been looking forward to it. I heard he only makes good movies.
Yeah, I love it. Even if it sucks, I just know he's going to try something.
Yeah, it's just different and worthwhile. Yeah,
exactly.
So Parker has 4, right?
Yeah, I don't even have 5. It's so fucking sad.
So we're gonna skip you on this one, and we'll do the 4 movies you saw this year. And do you want to mention a WrestleMania in place of that 5? Which
you know what it is? It's like, dude, once I got this fucking the Disney Plus thing, I just did like a deep dive into like all these fucking comic book movies that I've been sleeping on for the past 10 years. You know.
All right, so Nick, give me one.
I mean, if we want to talk,
I mean, honestly, like it's not even a Marvel movie, but I finally got around to seeing the fucking original Deadpool from fucking 4 years ago when I was blown away. I thought it was great.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I
mean, if we want to talk WrestleManias, I've watched 20 years of WWE pay-per-views from 1996, and now I'm in 2016. Since the beginning.
Yeah. You guys could start your own show. You guys could start your own show.
I know way too much about wrestling.
That's some 2020 shit right there.
So let me do my number 5, and then we'll go back around. So I picked ICU, which is with Helen Hunt, directed by Adam Randall. This is one of those movies that was on Prime exclusively. And it was one of the smartest and best twists I've ever. Like, this movie started off somewhere and ended up somewhere else. And it was something that I've never seen before. And I know a lot of people were really stuck on Helen Hunt's plastic surgery. Shout out to Jerry Smith, wherever he is. Watching some shitty movie, I'm sure. But the actual movie is so fucking great. Great twist. Great, just everything about it. And it's currently on Amazon Prime. And I'd feel fucked up if I didn't put it in my top 5. Any of you guys see it?
I did not, but I wrote it down. That sounds good.
Steve?
I'm interested.
Steve, did you watch it?
I have not seen it yet Because every time I look at the picture for it, I'm like, I don't care about this movie.
Believe me when I tell you, it's not. It looks like something, but it's not that. It's really well done. So that's my number 5. Let's go to your number.
Yeah,
4.
I'll get around to it. I've heard so many good things about it, but I'll get around to it.
Give me your 4. Andolfo.
Oh, me? Swallow.
Okay.
Swallow is my number 4. Anybody else see it, or am I the only one to see Swallow?
It's on my list. So hold off to talk about it because it's further up on my list.
Okay, that's why I was asking.
Yeah. So let's hold off on that. You got 4 Swallow. Langan, give me your number 4.
My number 4 was another ridiculous, absurdist movie, Butt Boy.
Oh,
yeah. Good one.
Which I didn't know about till I read Mr. John Waters' 2020 list. He's on point as always. I went and streamed it, and man, the concept of this movie is I had to give it a mention because I had to applaud the ingenuity of this movie. Basically, a guy, I don't want to give away too much, but
it's like a killer butt or something, or
essentially this guy goes to his proctologist, essentially gets a little thrill in the rectal examination, and like any addiction, he starts nothing's never enough, so things start disappearing around the house, and then local children are missing from playgrounds, and he is shoving them all up his ass.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
It's a lot like Swallow, but the other way around.
I heard it's actually like a good movie, which is bizarre.
Like the ridiculous of the concept.
Yeah.
Aside of that, it's not a big budget movie by any means, but it's well written. It's clever. It's funny. The ending, I definitely try. This whole show, I will be very tight on spoilers and shit. I'm very conscious of that.
Yeah.
It's an ending you wouldn't believe, but yeah, it's a good written movie. The guy that wrote it and directed it is also in the film. So definitely,
okay.
Guy's labor.
You would say he's the titular butt boy.
Yeah.
I heard the Mandalorian died, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So.
I don't even know.
Parker, give me your number 4.
All right, so number 4 was the Borat movie for me, subsequent movie film.
Okay, yeah, that's. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, coming after the original, like I said, which is fucking one of the funniest movies of all time. Like I said, when I saw that in the theater, I literally started dry heaving, from laughter and punching, my old roommate next to me. I mean, this was funny, not as funny, I didn't think, but still I had a fucking blast watching. I mean, I thought the actress that played his daughter was great because, trying to act with him and then, just be as funny. I thought she did a great job.
Yo, real talk, she might have been the best acting I've seen all year. It came out of nowhere, and she sold that shit. Like, that's not an easy role.
How do you not laugh?
Yeah.
How do you not laugh? Like,
she crushed it, dude. That whole dancing scene with
that was the best part with the blood.
She's got balls. Like, she never did anything before, yo. She's got balls, man.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
She so that made it into like my top 15. It's just that first Borat is just like like you said, I was fucking dying. Like when he's like wrestling Azamat Bagatov and they're like doing a 69, like I'm just dying.
Amazing.
But this movie, like it was good. Like it was fun to see him back. It's just one of those movies. It's so hard to recreate that I didn't know what they would do. Even like the Rudy Giuliani stuff, I was like, like it's kind of like super inappropriate in a way, but like it was kind of like a semi-hit job, this guy's such a ghoul that it's like, of course,
totally. But that's brilliant marketing. It's like that scene.
Yeah,
when it hit Twitter and everything the next day. It was, next level.
That was how I felt about that whole movie. Like, it was fine. I didn't have any real problems with it. Like, but I found myself it's not as funny as the original one.
Yeah.
and it felt like it was more of a like, I'm getting away with some topical jokes here, type movie, more than it was like an original idea anymore.
I thought also what really worked in this film way more than the first film. It's almost like the vice versa. I thought the scripted part of it worked better. You know, like this, like the relationship with him and his daughter, like that was just so well done that it was just, it almost like overtook, maybe because it needed to substitute for certain things, because you can't really get away with a lot of things. Everyone knows who the fuck he is. So I thought that was interesting, like, you know, like kind of like, I guess like the subtle subtext about, you know, even like women's rights or whatever, you know, it was like that. The very ending I thought was very well done. But okay, cool. So we're up to number 3, Steve.
Did you give your number?
Yeah, you didn't give yours.
Oh, did I? I don't know.
Okay, you skipped yourself. Bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm high as fuck. All right, so I have The Wolf of Snow Hill. This movie, you know, it's amazing the amount of content that comes out, and you're like, where does this stuff come from? Who is this guy? Who are these people? I mean, Robert Forster was in the movie. I know that the director.
Never heard of him.
Huh?
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, I know the director of this movie made something else that people seem to love, but this just
Thunder Road.
Just like the last movie that. All right, I'm not gonna get too into it, you know, for spoilers, but I'm gonna say this is definitely one of the best werewolf movies I've ever seen. It's so good. It's so well shot. It looks like a $1 billion movie, and I'm sure it wasn't. It's just the technology that they used was great. The characters were great. The writing was great. A total home run. Like a lot of comedic parts, a lot of great violence. But by far one of the best movies I've seen this year. I couldn't recommend it more. Anyone else have it or no?
I didn't see that, but I heard nothing but good things, and I just jotted it down again to remind
Okay, it's very good. Did you watch it, Steve? Oh no, you had it.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's not on my list, but I enjoyed it for the most part. I don't think I thought anything was bad about it. I feel there are a lot of parallels to like The Dead Don't Die in that movie,
which I didn't see yet.
Yeah,
Jim Jarmusch movie.
The Jarmusch one. Yeah. Like, I feel like the Jarmusch one was way more subdued and like way more kind of downtrodden and Jarmushy. But, you know, this one still had the same kind of, like the Wolf of Snow Hollow, was it?
Yeah.
Snow Peak or whatever. It has the same kind of feel of just like your run-of-the-mill people having to deal with a fantastical situation.
Yeah.
And it works. It works for what it is. It definitely works.
Love it.
And like I said, that guy, the main guy in that was in Greener Grass. So you have a kind of sense of his style of comedy of sorts.
Yeah, very good. All right, so now, Steve, give me your number 3.
Palm Springs.
Oh, shit. You know it's fucked up?
Yeah, that's The Outsider, man.
Yo, I forgot that movie.
Great.
I got to write that down. That was in my top 5. All right, go ahead. That's fucked up. Go ahead.
I thought it was just great. Like, one, I mean, I don't want to give away the big reveal for it, or do I have to worry anymore? Like, has it been out long enough?
Yeah.
That is like, it's a romantic comedy, but with like a Groundhog's Day type time travel twist. And the two protagonists are fantastic. Andy Samberg and what's her name? Christine Milioti.
That sounds right.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like fantastic.
Yeah.
Like just like when it wasn't just being overly funny, there were actually poignant moments in it. There was actually like points. It reminded me of an old school romantic comedy where like the premise was really good and the romance and such was very good as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a must see. Plus, it was the most expensive film bought at Sundance. Like Hulu bought it for so much money at Sundance.
Yeah.
So
Hulu has it streaming. I think it was exclusively theirs, like you mentioned. I'm a sucker for time loop movies. Anytime I see a time loop, I'm all about it. It's funny. Like I was talking to Langan before about making these lists. Like, I thought I made it I thought I got everything, and I'm like sorting it out. Palm Springs. How did I miss that on my letterbox? I love that movie. That movie would have been.
Never get everything.
It would have been in my top 5.
It makes me annoyed that movie's not available for home purchase yet. Like,
it's really good. It reminds me of so like a couple of years ago, I had When We First Met with Adam Devine as my number 1 movie because it was a time loop movie. I thought it was amazing. Same thing with this. Wow, what a great movie. Can't believe I missed it. Good choice. Langan, number 3.
My number 3 was a film called, it came out in 2019, but I guess it's a UK film, but hit the States in March. I noticed a lot of films were like that. It was said 2019 on IMDb, but hit us like this year, you know?
Yeah.
The Witch Subversion was the same. It was 2018.
Yeah, exactly. But it's called Sorry We Missed You. And it's a pretty heavy drama. It's a family of 4 in the UK in the gig economy. Father trying to buy or rent a van to basically work for a company like Amazon, delivering packages and whatnot. Got a teenage boy that's kind of going the wrong way, a young daughter. Family trying to work insane amount of hours to get their head above water, dealing with everything that, you know, a family would deal with, and how hard it is in today's society, and how all it takes is one thing to go wrong and you're behind the 8 ball. And it's a pretty heavy film, but it's pretty touching and well done. By Ken Loach who did Win the Shakespeare 60. Yep. But, it's called Sorry We Missed You. I don't know where it's streaming. I actually got this from the library, but it came out of nowhere from me, blew me away.
I don't know if it's on Netflix or if it is on Amazon. It's on one of those two.
It's probably, on something at this point, but yeah, I just stumbled upon it from the library. And
you still got a DVD player, right?
I use my PlayStation. That's all it takes, right?
PlayStation 1?
3. I haven't played a video game. I couldn't tell you how long, but I use it for DVDs. But I get a lot of great stuff from the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I know, Steve, like you still buy shit, so you must have a DVD player.
I do buy shit. Physical media deserves to be bought. If you love something, get it on physical media, because all this digital crap is going to just crash and burn at some point.
At some
if you
point.
buy a movie on Amazon, you're not entitled to it for the rest of your life. You're entitled to it. Amazon owns it.
Parker, show us that room.
Yeah, man.
Where are we at? We got, there you go. So there's all the physical.
I miss it down there.
Yeah. Totally.
It's funny because I just bought, not just bought, but the last thing that I bought was, Anchor Bay has always been like one of my top like physical companies that puts out great shit, and they released this thing years ago called like the Fright Pack, and like one of them was like zombies, another one was like possession movies, and I finally got the zombie one, and it's still sitting there fucking wrapped. I haven't even fucking gotten the fucking chance to watch any of them, but it's mostly like European zombie shit, which is cool. A lot of it I haven't seen.
Cool. So give me your number 3.
All right, so number 3, which I just saw, Sound of Metal. So I went into this and I was like, all right, this looks cool. I can somewhat relate to this. It's about a drummer and he's touring and blah, blah, blah. But it's cool, where the movie, leads to. It was, I mean, I obviously knew, it's no spoiler that the guy loses his hearing, but, the trip that it takes you on was very cool. I thought I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah. It kind of went in a place I didn't expect it to go. And I forget his name, the guy that played the main. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
How did you feel about? I know there's a lot of controversy about him wearing a Youth of Today sweatshirt. That people didn't think that they would be into Youth of Today.
It's just funny because like the guy, like I know that the guy was like like an ex-addict, but like he's still fucking smoking cigarettes wearing a Youth of Today shirt.
Yeah. He's got a call.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody.
Cigarette. Jesus Christ! Wow.
Listen, At this age, I've never seen anybody in the world smoke a cigarette while wearing the Today Show. You fucking kidding me? I've seen dudes passed out or wearing Minor Threat shirts.
In all fairness, I was shooting heroin while wearing Minor Threat shirts.
There you go.
Boom.
That's just facts. I'm just throwing it out there. That's facts.
The shirts we wear don't necessarily reflect our actual morals.
But did you watch the movie? I haven't seen it yet. Did you see it, Steve?
No, I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Okay.
I wasted 3 hours of my life watching Tenet instead.
It's a good film.
What did you think of Tenet?
I fucking hated that movie.
Why?
I thought, all right, so Christopher Nolan has all of a sudden become this guy who makes smart movies for dumb people. Like, you think this movie is trying to tell you a lot, but really it's like, I just want to make cool effects that go backwards. And it's like, you have no idea what's going on until like the hour 15 mark.
Okay.
And then once the hour 15 mark and everything starts getting better, you're like, oh, okay, that's what this movie's about. It's a stupid fucking heist movie. Like, and you get through the whole thing, and by the time you're done with it, you're just like, I did not care for that. And now it's basically like, well, if you watch it again, you'll care for it more. It's like, no, I don't want to.
All right. Well, I'm going to watch it eventually, but I wasn't like something that I needed to watch, but I will for sure. Did you watch it, Langan?
No, I have not.
All right. They don't have that at the library yet?
I haven't checked on that one.
And just to piss off Chris Nolan, I watched it on my iPhone with motion smoothing on.
Oh, okay. I'm sure he's very angry right now. All right. So, what am my number 3? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
No, we're up to number 2. I thought.
No, my number 3 because I didn't do my 3.
Oh yeah.
So my number 3 is The Gentleman.
I got that. I got that at number 2. So
okay,
I'll jump in there. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm a big heist movie fan. I love it. I love things to do with crime. And Guy Ritchie just like when he does it, he does it great. He did have a lot of clunkers, but he did make some really cool movies. And I feel like this was kind of like a return to form. Colin Farrell's like characters, like the hip hop aspect of it.
Great cast. Yeah.
Yeah, great cast.
Yeah, no, the cast is fantastic.
And it was fun to see Ritchie like get back to. I mean, granted, while what he does not reinvent the wheel. Obviously, It's very Tarantino. Asking Tarantino isn't the most original guy either. But the way they package it together, when they do it right, there's no denying how much fun it is to watch. And this movie did not disappoint. Great twist on it. But yeah, the cast was outstanding. And it was just good to see him back in form. Like from when he jumped out the gate with Snatch and Lock, Stock, his first one.
Yeah. And
he went very awry for a while. I mean, obviously he was making bank doing whatever he did. He did the Sherlock Holmes films, right? I'm sure he did well for himself, but the Madonna fucking
thing will make you crazy.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's how I saw The Gentleman as well. I was like, it's not making any of my top 10 or 15 lists, but it was a decent movie. It's what I like to call a hangover movie, where like if you're hungover and you like just want to put something on that will be fun for 2 hours and you don't have to worry about anything, Gentleman's perfectly fine for that.
Yeah,
it's not too convoluted. It's just there. And it does what it's supposed to do. I feel that way about the what was it? The Golden Circle movie, the Kingsman movie.
Yeah.
Where like they're not reinventing the wheel, but hey, they're real fun to watch.
Really fun to watch.
There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I thought Grant crushed it. I thought he was real good. And I don't know nothing about that guy. He's like romantic comedy land mostly. But
no, you don't like Notting Hill? You telling me you're not Notting Hill?
I've never seen none of that shit, man.
You don't fuck
there are balls right here.
So, all right. So basically, if you're hungover, watch The Gentleman, according to Steve. I don't drink, but he's obviously encouraged me to break edge, which means that I might have to listen.
Just fucking wear a fucking Minor Threat t-shirt while you're doing it.
Yeah. All right.
Can I just say I love it. I love how every now and then the main screen it changes which one of you guys are, and every now and then Parker's ceiling popped up.
Yeah, man. Pretty dirty up there, bro.
Who knew he was so vain in a room full of men?
I love it.
Look like us.
I love it.
Okay, so then that brings us to the top two, man. This is a big deal. My top two for sure are like two of the best movies I've ever seen. So Steve, give us your number two.
My number two is Mank, the new David Fincher movie that just dropped on Netflix. Basically, it's David Fincher wanting to do a Citizen Kane remake, but instead of doing a remake of Citizen Kane, he just made a movie that's very similar to Citizen Kane, including like plot points and how the movie is filmed, but about the guy who wrote Citizen Kane. So it's about this dude, the dude Mank or Mankiewicz, and it's his struggles with writing it, struggles of old Hollywood, and it echoes our political times right now with socialism versus like this stay the course type situation. It has his interactions with who would and then be the protagonist of Citizen Kane. I don't want to get too big into this. If nobody's watched Citizen Kane, like maybe like you shouldn't watch this movie.
Is this with Gary Oldman?
At the same time, yeah, Gary Oldman fucking holds this movie together and is brilliant the whole time. And again, it's a David Fincher movie, so it's beautiful. It's black and white. There's no color version of it. They shot it in black and white, but it's all in like 4K HD as well. So it's just a beautiful looking movie. Beautiful sets. Amanda Seyfried probably deserves an Oscar for her performance. Like, just engrossing movie. Like, if you ever just want to sit down and watch an engrossing, like if you love movies and you just want to watch a movie about one of the greatest movies ever made, this is a great way to spend 2 hours.
So Amanda Seyfried seems to have like she has like a new career. Like she was in First Reformed. She's been doing a lot of cool stuff lately. You know, she's been from where she started. I think she has like a set. And funny enough, like her husband started following my band on Instagram, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And I clicked on, and it said his name is Thomas whatever, and his wife is Amanda. And I'm just like, "Why is he liking all our videos?"
Get her on the show, bro.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
work that angle, son.
Yeah, he has in his profile, it just says husband of Amanda Seyfried. Doesn't say anything else. So when you click on it, you're like, oh, okay, that's who that guy is.
Would do that too.
No, he's an actor too. He's an actor. But yeah, all right, cool. That sounds great.
But yeah, no, David directed the shit out of that movie. I don't know. It was one of those movies where like I know I have to watch this because it's
because Parker, all I hear is that paper. It sounds like
I'm sorry, man.
Sounds like you're eating potato chips.
Yeah.
God.
I think they were Munchos, actually.
Let Steve
finish. It was one of those movies that I kind of
finish her up.
I just kind of listen. I just want to talk about Mank and how great Mank was. Just want to talk about my Mank.
Yeah. All right.
Want to put some Mank on it.
Yeah, put some Mank on that hang low.
Yeah, I'm just trying to slather it with Mank and try to get stuff going for it.
So,
but yeah, no, it's Gary Oldman and he's fantastic. David Fincher directed the hell out of it, and it's actually written by his father, his late dad. So,
okay. Very cool.
If you like 1930s Hollywood, give it a go.
Personal question. So, are you a lefty or a righty?
For when I make?
Yeah.
It's a righty. Yeah.
Yeah. So RoboCop has that just that job.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
RoboCop takes care of
it. All right. Yo, Langan.
With precision, my friend. With precision.
What was your number 2, Langan?
It was the
the
gentleman also. So I'll throw out one other quick honorable mention then. There was a film called The Traitor, an Italian film.
Okay.
About the guy who betrayed the mob, the first person from La Cosa Nostra that testified against them in his own.
Joe Valachi?
That?
Joe Valachi?
What's his fucking name? Tommaso Buscetta.
Oh, okay.
And
His last name is Bruschetta?
yeah, isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
Warsaw, I'll get a kick out of that. But I got to throw it out there. Good. If you're into mob movies, and you should be, if you're a guy.
Yeah.
And Traitor.
Yeah, we got Andolfo in that.
If you're a guy, do me a favor. Watch this movie.
Every man
don't
must like
Emma.
I never heard that.
Don't watch the Emma. That's got a girl.
Go from the library, son.
Like.
What?
I'm gonna check that out. Yo, Parker, give me your number 2.
Number 2, we actually spoke about on the Halloween episode we did, and I had a fucking blast watching this movie, fucking all-star cast, and they just announced a sequel for it, so I'm going fucking Hubie's Halloween.
Yo, I love that movie. I unabashedly love that movie.
I think I only read like one bad review about this movie, and everybody else fucking had a blast, and so did I.
Yeah, it's
Go
ahead, Steve.
No, all right. It's like Bill and Ted. Like it's one of those movies where it was just like, man, Halloween's not gonna really happen, right? Like I just need something, and boom, Adam Sandler was like, I got you, fam.
Yeah,
I got you.
For real.
It was visual comfort food. It was cinematic mac and cheese.
It really was that. Yeah. It just like you see him and this like this neighborhood and like these characters that are all there, and it's something that I could watch every Halloween for sure. You know, him like throwing up the thermos, like everything about it is so stupid, but it wasn't like sometimes he makes a movie that's so dumb that it is dumb. This movie just had like everything about it worked, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe as me and Karen sat down and watched this, I was like, this is actually really fun, entertaining, and everything that he was going for, I think he kind of nailed. And you know what? A twist.
Yeah, even a twist. Like, and he has a stupid face and accent the whole movie. It's great.
He's like,
he loves to go to that accent, man. He loves it.
He's like yelling. I laughed when he was just like, his daughter who's in the movie opens up the door and she yells and he yells and he's like, ah, what are we screaming at? Like he just, it was just so dumb. And coming off of Uncut Gems, which was like one of the, like I think my favorite movie of last year. Very cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool. So that brings us to number 1. Or did I? Oh, no. I didn't do my number 2. Why did
you didn't go with your number 2.
No, don't sell yourself out. Come on.
Keep skipping myself. All right. So my number 2 is Possessor. So Brandon Cronenberg's Possessor. Is that your number 1, Steve?
It is my number 1.
All right. So let's do it.
My number 1's Possessor.
Yeah. Speaking of Christopher Nolan, this seems like such a Christopher Nolan fucking plot. You know,
it does, but it's so Cronenberg. It's like imagine being the guy who had to grow up with David Cronenberg as your dad.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, Dad's doing some weird shit again.
Yeah.
Why are the couches made of flesh, Dad? Why is everything pulsating, Dad? But this is it's a high concept sci-fi thriller. Like
high concept, yeah.
I really love the idea of a person who has to play like there's a movie called Holy Motors from years ago. It's a French director, Mr. X or whatever, who did it. And it's about a guy who has to inhabit you follow him on his day and he inhabits different characters, so it's kind of like the life of an actor. This while that is completely different than this it's the idea of somebody having to convince other people that they are another person while knowing absolutely nothing about that person's actual life and habits. and I thought it was great. And then you've got like that interplay of somebody being stuck in a body they don't want to be in.
It's amazing.
I don't know.
Everything about like
It's a fantastic.
Just fantastic. Like everything you said, like it has assassins, it has like this like high concept fucking plot. It had an ending that just leaves you fucking floored. Obviously you could even tell like the budget wasn't all the way there, but if I couldn't even imagine how ridiculous it would be if it had like a $10 million budget, but
right. That's the thing.
Yeah, or even like a series, like
if you give
a 10 episode.
If you give a movie like this, right? If you give a movie like this like a huge budget, you're gonna end up with a movie that looks ridiculous. Like at some point, you're just gonna be like, "Come on, like this is just a bit too much."
Yeah.
This is effective.
By having you end up with a Tenet. So like
Maybe, yeah.
With Possessor, like you have this feel of old school Cronenberg. You really do, with like this high concept sci-fi movie that's also about like it's about relationships. It's about a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And it's all melded together into this thriller that you actually care about both sides of the situation as well.
It's by far one of the best movies I've seen in the last 10 years. Like I thought it was great. I know Langan, you had it in your honorable mentions.
Yeah, no, I love the fact too that there's Cronenberg is so unique and missed, and the fact that his son is carrying on that style in an era of where technology is even more. I would love to see, I would love to see him do like another like Videodrome, but not a remake or something like that, but with the new technology we have now. I would love to see him envision that. But it was refreshing to know that somebody's out there doing that style and it's son,
Yeah, and
well, Antiviral was kind of his Videodrome.
I didn't like that as much. I don't know why. It just.
Oh no, I love that. I there's parts of me that go back and forth all the time arguing which one's better. But Antiviral,
I didn't see it yet.
Definitely his Videodrome.
I didn't see it yet, so I'm gonna definitely. I gotta watch. I know it's up on AMC Plus, which
it is.
What a great service that is. I'll talk about that.
So
later.
let's do a half-hour commercial for AMC Plus and how great it is.
Not without them paying us, son.
We're doing that in the next segment. We're doing that in the next segment when we talk to Brian Marr, who's about to chime in, and we do, because I have Gangs of London up on there.
Gangs of
We got
London
an
is
all-star lineup here today on the 2020. We're going all around the country, zooming.
This is how you've made it.
Yo,
this is how you
AZ in the house.
We have a similar deal to Joe Rogan on Spotify. Similar, and that involves an exchange of money. It's just that I pay them $10 a month and I don't receive millions.
So that brings us to, what was your number one? No, what are we doing? Your number one? Did you do your number one? I don't know. Langan.
Yeah, I did mine. It's up to I don't know who's next.
Langan, what's your number one?
My number one is a film called Beats. It's a Scottish film. It came out over there again last year. Hit us about June, I think. I want to say. Very much. It involves two Scottish lads, we'll call them, in 1994. Both got some issues going on at home. They're getting money together to go to a rave, which was a scene I was heavily involved with back then. So it scratched the nostalgic itch and got it right. Like a lot of times, movies miss the whole rave experience. They don't get it right. They never do. The music, whatever. This thing, if you were in that scene or around that time, you will relate to it. And it's very much in the vein of, let's say, in a Days of Confused, or more of a Detroit Rock City. There's a couple of friends. They have a singular goal, like that you would have as a teenager, to go to a certain event or whatever and have some mind-melting time or whatever. And the soundtrack is killer. Like, they nailed all the real artists that were making good music back then. You could tell a real underground head made it. Very beneath the surface. It wasn't a big release or anything like that. But
what is that noise?
I don't know.
Is anyone watching TV or something?
Yeah, I've just been low-key. I've just been watching another movie to
What
see
are you
if
hearing?
Oh, have you?
No.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean, just yeah. I mean, if you are like, I don't know, Parker. I don't know what you're doing, but if just
None, man. I've just been sitting here.
oh weird. I'm picking something else up. But yeah, all right. Yeah, I never heard of Beats, but if it's
Yeah.
your number one, I'm definitely gonna have to watch it. And I love doing drugs at raves. So
If you have been to one, especially when they actually get to it, I mean, it's one of my top films I've ever seen that actually got the vibe, the look, the sound, everything right of that genre, you know. And but besides that, getting that accuracy, it's just a good story with two friends trying to go on this, you know, goal. It's not that simple. So if you weren't involved in the scene or whatever,
Okay.
you'll still appreciate it. But if you were, you really will.
cool. So Parker, give me your number one.
So number one is actually a stand-up comedy special by this guy named Jimmy O Yang. Good deal. And this dude was on the show Silicon Valley that I was absolutely addicted to. He played this character, Jin Yang, and him and TJ Miller just fucking played off of each other amazingly. And then, funny enough, TJ Miller left the show, and then I kind of like, you know, washed my hands with the show because I thought that when he fucking left, I thought that fucking show tanked completely. But this stand-up was fucking hysterical. I was laughing from beginning to end with this fucking guy.
Okay. Where'd you watch it?
It was on, it was either Prime or Netflix. I forget what it was.
Alrighty. So that brings me to number one, which was your number four, Steve. I think it's a cinematic masterpiece. I don't think another movie has hit me the way this movie has hit me. The way it was very disturbing. It's the movie Swallow. I thought visually it was fucking gorgeous. I thought the actress was so perfect. It was like watching the movie Happiness. It felt like a Todd Solondz movie. I felt like I was fucking just like, by the end of the movie, I just looked at my girlfriend. I was just like, that was fucking heavy. Like that was just such a, it's when people talk about horror movies, you know, it's fun to see like slasher stuff like this, but man, when you get to something that's so horrific, when it comes to like humans and human behavior, and just this girl who was so like traumatized by these events that happened in her life, that it just kind of like went on to haunt her as she got older. Man, this is like, you know, this is like the real horror. Like when you really think, it's.
I agree with that. And I also think like the whole point of her swallowing things that are more and more harmful for her, just as an escape and as freedom for her, was a big message that it's just like, yeah, sometimes you do crazy shit to escape from things.
Yeah. And you know, at the end of the day, it's a movie, and you know she's not really like swallowing these things, but man, they made you really. It felt like you're like looking at her going like, please don't swallow that, you know? And
right.
it was
the color tones in the movie were fantastic.
Amazing. Like
yeah.
The best color tones I've seen since that movie Revenge. Just like visually, like wow, like whoever, you know, the cinematography was just fucking fantastic. Yeah, I'll forever remember Swallow, just because it's so, you know, at this age to watch things that make you feel uncomfortable. It's just it's something for sure, you know, like, and I watched this movie and I was like, holy shit, this is like really, man, that actress just nailed it. She fucking nailed it. So
yeah,
much, man. Like
and it's all like this slow creeping horror too. It's not even like it's like straight off like this is horrific.
Yeah.
It's as it ramps up and ramps up and ramps up.
Yeah.
Just out of control. Like I could watch somebody getting like his head destroyed and their brains destroyed and all that for hours, and I'd be like, oh, it's fine. Swallow, I finish and like, oh Jesus.
Yeah. I don't remember. Did you have it on your list, Langan?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it. That's right. Why didn't you?
But you liked the movie about people putting things in their butts.
Of course I did.
You didn't like the thing about the people putting things
I've
in their
seen
mouth.
better movies with Swallow in the title on Pornhub.
Yeah.
All right, nah, seriously. I love. I like psychological horror. I like stuff like that. Midsommar was one of my favorite films of the year it came out. I am into that kind of style, but I like the premise of it. I give it credit for a balls out ending. Very disturbing. The cinematography was great. I did not. I didn't. The characters were a little thin to me. I didn't buy that this girl would marry into this family. I didn't buy because she was weird from the jump. Like, I don't know. I just didn't even see their relationship. Didn't make sense to me. And I'm not saying it's a horrible movie. I just did not rank it as highly as you guys.
Yeah, that blows my mind. And also, just to finish up here, you hated Becky as well, which I had in my top 15.
Terrible.
Why didn't you like? I thought it was just great. I thought it was
absurd. I don't know. Like I mean, I mentioned it's. I like the like a.
I don't need to see Kevin James doing anything.
He was awful. Like it was like, okay, you grew a beard, and I am believing you're some like badass neo-Nazi or whatever. But and then this preteen girl all of a sudden is like John Wick, like out of the like randomly, like I don't know, I couldn't get past it.
I just thought it was so fun because it was so violent, and the guys that did Cooties did it, and I'll take
The Hunt. The Hunt satisfies that for me. I thought that was well done. I didn't care for it. Yeah.
I like The Hunt. I just thought Becky was bad. Anyway, Steve, thank you for coming in and hanging out with us, being the first guest of the best of 2020.
I'm happy to be put up first. Can I also? I wanted to just say one thing that we didn't bring up. There are 2 documentaries this year that I thought were fantastic.
Sure.
One is that Class Action Park.
Oh my God! Yeah. Good call.
And the other one is that Jasper Mall one. I don't know if anyone.
I saw that.
I should have added it. Fuck.
Yeah. Both of those were like really like. Class Action Park was just fun.
Yeah.
Because you remember growing up and being like, man, I want to go to Action Park, and then going to Action Park and being like, I don't want to be here anymore.
You're so right. I was the same way. I was there like a handful of times because it was always like, do you want to go to Great Adventures or Action Park? And I'm like, do I want to walk around wet all day or go on rides? But the times that we did go to Action Park, I'm like, holy shit, my cousin like sliced his knee off on the Alpine. Like when you thought about it, I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, it was like a slab of concrete. You just hurtled down.
It wasn't even a thought. We just thought it was funny. And then you see this documentary, and I'm like, I guess it was kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Well, it's the same as like those things they let you play with in elementary school, like those little those scooters that you put your butt on and scoot it around, and like you definitely hurt your finger every single time you were on that thing.
Yeah. Well, it's on a hill, a concrete slab on a hill with it.
Yeah.
I bet you mentioned Jasper Mall, though. I didn't know a lot of other people had seen that movie. That was like such a great, sad example of the underbelly rotting out of this country.
I keep feelers out for documentaries on like malls and like what's happening and dilapidated malls and what's going on. But Jasper Mall was one of those movies where it's definitely got this undercurrent of everything's terrible, but the one janitor guy like seems to be positive about pretty much everything the whole time.
Oh, that guy takes his job seriously. Respect.
And like the kid that comes in to get a job at the shoe store, and he's like, "Nah, you're working here, trash. Your life is trash.
Clean up vomit. This bathroom gets disgusting."
But yeah, if you haven't watched Jasper Mall, I think it's on Prime, and it is fantastic.
Cool. So let me, let's say goodbye. We're gonna bring Mar in.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing it.
Thanks,
and
man.
Thanks for having me.
All right, the cleansing hour rules. All right.
Later. Cleansing hour is bad.
Yo, there he is.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
What up?
Parker, why am I looking up at you like you're like I'm on an operating table right now?
Yeah, man. Ceiling only view, baby.
He's
Yeah,
God.
Damn.
He's not camera ready today.
No. Makeup department fucking fell short.
Yeah. I feel like I'm like the guy in the operation game, and you're like ready to like just hit that POV on me, man.
No, we're just gonna do. This is just for us, but I'm gonna pull the audio. So we're not gonna do like a video thing.
Oh, but this is classic shit you're losing. That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you want to pull your dick out, whatever you got to do, that's cool. So
There ain't enough room on this screen, motherfucker, and you know that. What are you talking about?
yeah. So welcome back. This is your third time on the show, I believe, right?
Catching up to Malamo, dude. Fucking.
Almost, yeah.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch it. Number 4.
Yeah.
The enigmatic watch, I know. Yeah, is another one I got to catch up to.
So we're going to talk about favorite TV shows of 2020. Man, it's so much stuff. Like I'm like making this list, and I'm just like, how am I going to get it down? So just like the last thing, we're going to do our 5 favorites and 5 honorable mentions. If you haven't seen those or you don't have enough, then whatever we have. I think I have 5 and 5, so I'm good.
I've got 5 favorites and 1 honorable mention. You know what was weird though was like figuring out what even happened this year, because June feels like it was 6 years ago,
Yeah.
So it's like I had to look. I was like, was that in 2020? Like
I looked. I looked. I went on Google because I forgot Ozark came out this year. I forgot
cool.
like so many things came out. But yeah, speaking of your band, you guys put out a video recently, which I thought did very well, and I thought a lot of people dug it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, on our end, people who like us and support us all seem to love it. But then it got reposted on Punkers TV, which is on Instagram. Which I don't know if you guys follow that, but they put up all sorts of videos, and that got us way more fucking views than we could have ever gotten on our own. And the doom scrolling of the comments began, But it was the biggest one was take off the mask. Why are you wearing a mask? Communist pussy. You and your fucking masks. This and that. And it was like, it's an artifact for this moment. Do you not get that? I mean, it's like the St. Anger drum sound. It's something that's going to resonate with this time period. And it's a tongue-in-cheek joke. Not that of course we wear masks. I mean, whatever, we're courteous people, in fact, we were supposed to go do this thing called lampshade sessions, which we had to reschedule because we had like a COVID scare within our pod. Nobody had it luckily, but people next to people did. So, we took the precautions and didn't want to be part of the spreader event,
Sure.
So, you know what? Like, fuck you, herd immunity, motherfuckers.
We did the same thing. So we just put a video up on Punkers TV. It's the 3rd time we did it. And I knew for some reason on this last video that we made, being that it was so synth heavy, that I was like, I don't think these guys are going to like it. And sure enough, it got, there's some good comments under our video, but it got like 5,000 views and like, 200 or 300 likes. But the comments were like, this band is a giant fat chorus of pussies. Another one just wrote pop music.
Yeah, I went and looked into like the people who were actually commenting and actually started looking at their profiles, and it was what I expected. Like, Floridian swamp people, gun nuts saying that we're not punk. It's like, all right, well, you're wrestling a gator, whatever, dude.
It's also like Punkers TV is great curation. It's out of Europe. They have like 150,000 followers, so it brings you to a different audience. But in between the stuff that they promote, there's like UK subs, there's like Misfit. It's such a like real legit like punk thing.
Of course, so putting
a lot of
Dead and Black Suit Youth up against Crass, and Idols and shit like that. It's a different fucking thing.
Yeah, for sure. But we man, what was another good comment? Like, it was like, these guys definitely all met at a support group for craft beer, baby. It was just something, it was like the funniest shit. And I'm like, this is great. Like, these comments were really funny. And they're just like young kids who, like when I was younger and somebody would play me Led Zeppelin or whatever, I would be like, oh, this is just fun. This isn't punk enough. So I get it. And it's funny. And the more people you reach, the more people that are just not gonna, there's an opportunity for them not to like you. You know, like Metallica will put out a cover of, you know, like a version of Blackened that will make people's hearts stop because it's so terrible. And they're the biggest band on the planet, you know? So it's just the more people you reach, the more people that are just going to be like, I don't like that.
But I was going to say, so you get all the comments like, you suck, whatever. And then, of course, you get this, look at this lump of fucking text that just goes on and on.
Yeah.
That's like the next fucking level of, I don't know, fucking, I'm not even going to read what this fucking shit says. It's written by a psychopath, you know what I mean? Like
Yo, so let's talk TVs. Let's start with our guest. You said you have one honorable mention as far as best TV shows of 2020, so give it to me.
Yeah, and I'm just going to give it to you. I don't really judge reality shows as being actual TV scripted. You know what? Even though it kind of is, but I want to give my honorable mention in that vein to The Cabin with Burt Kreischer, which I thought was hysterical. You know, if you haven't seen it, it's, you know, comedian Burt Kreischer goes to a cabin to get healthy and just invites all his friends to come drink and do drugs with him, you know?
That was funny.
Yes. Yeah. You know, he's one of those dudes that's like, he's so popular, and it's due to like the Rogan effect and like these guys that are all on each other's podcasts. He's one of those guys that people seem to love, but I don't know. Like I see Burt Kreischer and I'm just like, I almost get FOMO. I'm like, am I supposed to like this guy? Like, I don't get what he does. He's like,
got one huge hit. I Am the Machine is just, it's just a viral comedy thing that's world known. And from that, not that, look, he's really funny. He's done tons of shit since then, but I mean, that's his fucking like Led Zeppelin 4 right out the gate, you know, like he can parlay that forever, you know?
Yeah.
More than his stand up, I do like him. I like the show he does with Bill Burr, the Bill Burr podcast. I like him as a person. He seems like a fun dude.
He seems
that
like
really
a fun
enjoys
person.
life. Like, always a good time. And when him with Tom Segura is always gold and stuff. So more than his stand up, but I love him as a podcast.
I love him trying to compete with Segura, and then Segura always blows him out of the water. So like, the dance contest was insane. That fucking video that Segura did where he assassinates him at the end. Yeah, it's incredible.
Those guys are great. So Langan, do you have any honorable TV mentions?
Well, you know what? I told you earlier, like I didn't watch much TV this year, so I'm kind of sitting this one back a little bit. I watched a little bit. I jumped in because I'm sure what I would have seen, someone's going to mention higher up.
I got a bunch of dumb shit for sure. But Parker, do you have anything that you want to throw in?
I got a bunch of honorables. So I have Monsterland.
Okay, that was good.
Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
Goldberg's obviously still going on, still watching it. Fear City, that miniseries that was on Netflix.
That was good.
McMillions.
Oh, that was good, yeah.
And I'm a sucker for Jeff Goldblum, and he's actually got a show on Disney Plus called The World According to Jeff Goldblum, so I jumped into that.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to do my honorables. Let's see. This is a show that just came out. So there's only 2 episodes, but Your Honor on Showtime, fucking great. Like Bryan Cranston, it's you know, I guess the premise that you could read about is just, you know, his son accidentally kills someone, and you know, Bryan Cranston is a judge, and you know, a lie gets told, and from there it just keeps fucking snowballing, and you won't really get much from like after reading that stuff, but it's in the 2 episodes, it's very tense. It's hard for, I guess, direction. It's all about direction, because the direction really feels like almost like a Safdie Brothers thing, where it's like it builds this tension and you're watching, you're like, what is going to happen? And it's very, very tense. But only 2 episodes so far, and I think it's going to be really good. I really enjoyed the Euphoria episode, which was the special that they put out. That was one of my favorite shows of last year. This one is just, they had one special episode. Sam Levinson, who's Barry Levinson's son, you know, created the show, wrote this episode. And for someone like me, who's like 22 years sober, watching, you know, the episode is just this one setting. It's them in a diner, you know, the main character, Rue, and this other, you know, drug dude, like maybe her sponsor, I forget. So listening to this conversation really hit home with me, because I've been both those people. Like, you hear the drug addicted, like, young kid, and then you hear like the older person that's like talking to them, and just like this world that they create, and they talk for like an hour. And it's just so, it hit home with me because I felt like I've been both of those people, you know, and Sam Levinson has, like, you know, he came from a drug background as well. So I think it's very legit as far as that's concerned. let's see. Talking about AMC Plus, Gangs of London. I'm 5 episodes in on that. Fantastic. It's kind of like a wow. So I'm trying to think. All right, so the guy who directed The Raid directed the first few episodes. There's a murder that happens. Like there's like a commission in London with all these crime groups. And in the first 5 or 10 minutes of it, what happens is that hierarchy, the highest dude of like the boss of all bosses gets killed. And from there, no one knows why, no one knows who did it. It's just like everything that happens, all these like the dealings that all these gangs in London have, like all, like they're all figuring out who did it, why they did it. And from there, it's just like this unraveling that happens, and the violence is fucking amazing.
What era is it in? Like Peaky Blinders
today.
or like current times? Or
No, today. For sure. It's so good. AMC Plus has so much good stuff. Completely worth every dollar that I drop on it. 2 more honorable mentions. The Outsider on HBO, which I feel like was definitely very good, maybe a little too long in the middle. Dead to Me was fucking great. Season 2 this on Netflix, so good. And then the show that everyone knows that I keep talking about that came out 6 years ago that I finally watched, You're the Worst, is by far, I watched 62 episodes of this show. I don't binge shows, and this show was so good. It's on Hulu, but it was originally on FXX. 62 episodes, 5 seasons, not one bad episode, not one bad character. It was probably the best show I've seen in my life. I can't believe how fucking funny it was from beginning to end. It just 5 seasons of perfect TV. So I wanted to throw that in the honorable mentions because it's a show that I just binged the fuck out of. And everyone, it's hilarious. They're 23-minute episodes. Aya Cash is amazing. And I can't say enough about it. It's just,
I got to ask you, man.
Yeah.
I put it on last night.
Yeah.
I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm not totally feeling it yet. Where am I?
Okay.
Where should I?
Here's the thing. I relate to these characters because you're married with a kid, which means somewhere along the way you're functional in a relationship. To me, these 2 characters should not be together. And it's kind of like every girlfriend I've ever had, that's how I met, where I'm like, well, we're not together. We'll hang out. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of like just 2 of the worst people that should never be together, yet sometimes they stay together. They're terrible people. They're like if Always Sunny type people. Every character in that show is just terrible. They're all terrible, but they're so likable.
I'm gonna keep with it because
how was that first sex scene though?
Oh yeah,
it was like softcore porn.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, like I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, these like they're basically, it was more extreme than shit you see on HBO.
Yes.
All right, so
Cinemax.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't, I love that you can't see Parker.
Ghost.
All right, so let's start this off. Number 5 TV show of 2020, Brian Maher.
Well, you already mentioned it, but actually The Outsider. With Castle Rock kind of getting canceled, I think it was a good continuation to that creepiness of what the fuck is going on kind of show. Yeah, I didn't find that it was as long in the middle as you did. I thought it was all these like little like layers were kind of unfurling with it, and it was really cool graphically, and HBO did a lot of killer stuff this year. Like I was kind of toggling between that and Lovecraft Country, but I feel like Outsider, just with Ben Mendelsohn, I think really
he did great.
Good job. I thought that kind of drove it home for me as like, solid mention,
Ben Mendelsohn, he murdered that role. He did so great in that role.
Everything he does is awesome. I'd never dislike him in anything,
Yeah. Did you watch that what was he in, like Bloodline? That was the Netflix show that he did that people like. But yeah, The Outsider, I thought started off so strong.
Second episode was insane.
No. I think like the first 2 and like the last 2 were definitely the strong ones. But I didn't mind the story. It was very slow. I just feel like somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the middle is what made it go from top 5 to honorable mention for me.
Gotcha. I dug especially the middle parts when it really focused on that, the woman with all those, with the, her incredible mind and how she operated and whatnot. Like I forget her name because January was 7 years ago at this point. But it was like,
Yeah, she was great.
I found that character fascinating. Like, again, you don't see a character like that so often, Like,
Yeah. No, you're right. You're so right, for sure. The Outsider. Langan, what do you got for number 5?
I got nothing.
Okay, cool. So, Parker, what do you have for number 5?
Number 5, I started watching the show that's actually still on, and it started 5 years ago, so I just took a shot on it, and it's called Superstore. So it's a comedy, and it's on. I think it was originally on NBC. I started watching it on Hulu, and it's by the main writer of The Office. So it's the same type of humor. I mean, if you go into this show, you go into the show, you can see that there's a Michael Scott character, there's a Dwight character, yada yada yada. But it pretty much takes place in like a Target or a Walmart. Just these people's just everyday, life, everyday jobs. So Superstore.
the announcer just got canceled, so the end is nigh.
There you go.
Is it like 30 minutes? Is it like a sitcom?
Yeah, it's a sitcom. It's a half an hour. It's the manager is one of the guys from Kids in the Hall. Funny enough, one of the actors from Kids in the Hall.
Okay.
And it's one of those, kind of like Andolfo was talking about, like a hangover movie. Like this is definitely something you really don't need to pay attention to, but it's definitely filled with laughs.
Okay, cool. So what do you have for number 4?
I'm going with season 2 of The Boys, man.
Okay. That's actually exactly what I have at number 4.
Did you give your 5, Sam?
Oh, no, you're right. What am I saying? Hold on.
Sorry, I didn't
You keep forgetting yourself, bro.
I do keep forgetting myself. Number 5 is The Boys. So just like you. So number 5, season 2 of The Boys. So I thought season 1 was better.
Yeah.
But it's just because it was so it was just so like, I hate comic book shit, and this was just like the antithesis of that. It was just like, it was like Brightburn, but like a series. So when the second season came out, man, I was pretty excited, and it delivered. I thought it was great. The new characters that were in it, the fucking dick scene in that, and it also had the Nazi Stormfront, who I was like, who is this adorable girl? And let me rate her IMDb, which is what brought me to You're the Worst and everything that she's been on since. She was also in a movie called Scare Me, which I thought was really good as well. But yeah, man, season 2 of The Boys, just Butcher is like the best character on that show. Everything he says is just a quotable. I've never used the word cunt before because it just never really fits into my dialect. But
Myself too.
When he says "don't be a cunt," I'm like, yeah, don't be a fucking cunt.
You got the kid to say it, but also like I love him and I love Homelander because they are kind of two sides of the same coin. And I feel like this season, maybe at the very end had a couple of pitfalls, but they upped the ante with the villains because you're thinking, how could they even be worse than last season? But yeah, you have Stormfront and Lamplighter, who are both just incredibly horrible people, but awesome to watch,
Yeah, very. And you're right. Homelander is, I love that dude. So he was in a show called Banshee, and it's funny because he was the hero of that, and he is so despicable as Homelander, and a lot of like the, the current political stuff. Like, I mean, it'd be hard to overlook, what they were liking him to, and I thought it was very well done. Great season. Looking forward to season 3, man. So far, 2 of the best seasons on TV that I've ever seen. It's just amazing how a show like that, and I think Amazon did very well with it, so it's funny, like these streaming sites make some of the best content, and The Boys is definitely up there.
You have to. It's an arms race for subscribers. You got to deliver shit that everybody wants, and you got to have like your Handmaid's Tale, and you got to have the comic book shit to compete against the ones that Netflix has or whoever else,
Yeah, because these days, like, I was watching a show called, just because my girlfriend wanted to watch it, Big Sky, that's originally on Channel 7, ABC, but they're playing it on Hulu. And it's just like, I don't know, like I feel like a lot of these network shows now are just for like older people that don't want subscriptions to anything.
Fucking dinosaurs, man.
Because I'm like watching this show and I'm like, it's good, but it's not like great. It's just like, you know, like Everybody Loves Rain. Like it's like one of those things where you're just like, this is okay, but like you know that there's much better stuff on like fucking, you know, I don't know, Amazon or.
Like my wife was watching some show. I forgot what the fuck it was called, like some network show. But at some point, it must have gotten canceled on the networks, and then went to the streaming services because all of a sudden they're saying "fuck" and it's getting more graphic and shit that goes on. So that happens too, you know.
Yeah. I love that. I for sure. Now that you're, you know, the way that you could write, you know, you can't write the way people normally speak, and sometimes you say "fuck." It just happens. It just restricts you, and it's like sometimes it's like whatever. So. What do you have up there? Anything, Langan?
Nah, I mean, I watched a ton of movies this year.
I just stared at
listened to a ton of music.
Yeah.
Read a lot of books, but I just didn't watch a lot of TV.
Yeah. What's a TV show that you want to shout out that you grew up watching? The Jeffersons?
That I grew up. I loved your post today about that. No, I know. Like I watched. You know. I watched a lot of true crime series. I watched a couple of things, but nothing worth mentioning. I know one of the things that I did watch though. I'd be shocked if someone didn't mention here, so I'm not just gonna throw it out, and you know I'll jump in when they mention it because
throw it out. What are you gonna say?
Fargo season 4.
Fargo? Oh, I didn't watch it.
Oh no?
Do you have it on your list?
I've only seen the movie. I never watched the show. So.
Okay. Then I'll speak on it because I did watch it.
Okay.
I've been a fan of that show from the jump. I love the movie. Not a big fan of the Coen brothers, but when that series came out originally, I checked it out. What's that?
I just saw the first season of it and I loved it.
Yeah, it's that season is amazing, and Billy Bob Thornton is legendary.
So good.
One of the best heavies I've ever seen.
How does it relate to the movie? Like, is it like a continuation? Or
every year, it's a different crime story in that Midwestern area.
But the first seems like it's related to the movie way more.
The first more than anything else post that.
Yeah.
Like every season's different. It's like American Horror Story. Every season's different, except it has different characters and it's actually good. So it's season 4. It's not as good as season 1. Don't get me wrong, but it's fantastically. It's one of the best. It's some of the best cinematography you'll ever see with television. And there's one episode in particular of this season called East West. I won't say anything about it, but it might be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen shot for television. Amazing. Chris Rock playing a dramatic role and actually being good at it, because I've never seen that happen. Yeah. I've seen him in some dramas and some comedies, but acting's not his strong suit. Sandler.
You didn't like Pootie Tang?
No.
What about New Jack City?
It wasn't like this. He did something amazing with it, but he played. It's a serious role, obviously, and he's great at it. The whole cast is great. If you like Fargo, continue watching it. If you've only got the first season, keep going with it because it's beautiful.
Only the first one, because like my dad. Hold on. My dad went out of his way to be like.
Stop the show to do a selfie.
No, I got to take pictures of the screens all the time.
Okay.
You know, I'm about that social media game. We got to get those 10 listens.
Monetize it, man.
But
yeah,
he was like, "Yo, you got to watch the first season of Fargo." He's like, "It's really good." He's like, "You like it?" He's like, "It's a lot of murder, and you like murder." And I was like, "I do." I'm like, "My dad does know me on that."
Body motherfuckers all day.
But he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't suggest shit normally. So for him to do that, I'm like, okay. So it was up on Hulu, and I watched it, and it was just really good. It was just really fucking just very, very good, very entertaining. Billy Bob was amazing. The story just kept growing and intertwined. Couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah, season 4 just came out last year, and like I said, is it the strong? Even that show. It's not the strongest season I've ever seen of that show, but even not even being the strongest, it's still better than most shit you can see.
Yeah, and that's all we're doing here. We're mentioning things to people who listen to the show that, you know, we're basically weeding through all the bad stuff to give you the good. So Parker, is that you up there?
That's me, man. That's the ceiling right there, dancing on the ceiling.
Tile.
Cool.
Number four, I'm going fucking Mandalorian, baby.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, well,
What's that?
Shit happens.
That's Star Trek?
Yeah. So I'm going into this thing, you know, obviously a huge fan of Star Wars, you know, and I kind of went into it the same thing with like Cobra Kai. I'm just like, all right, like I love the fucking Karate Kid movie. Are they going to fuck up this show? Like I'm waiting for them to fuck up this show like every single episode, but it just keeps getting better and better. I mean, the fucking costumes, the sound effects, everything. I mean, the season finale of season 2 was fucking amazing.
Okay. No one else has that? You don't have that on your list, Mar?
I have it on my list, but not at number 4. So
okay. Yeah, all right. So you could speak on it when we get there.
Yeah.
So back to me. I have number 4 is Lovecraft Country. I know a lot of people kind of like really, like Jerry Smith, shout out to him again. Like certain people were kind of just like taken back by like maybe the racism part. And I'm thinking like, well, it takes place in a pretty racist time. America.
Jerry thought there wasn't enough racism.
Yeah.
Like we're getting 2 Tulsa riots
more
back, you know, with like Watchmen and that. I think maybe certain people blew their minds.
Yeah.
Shit, you know?
But it just, what I really liked about it just was the marriage of these 2 worlds. Like you have the real threat of this racism that was just like part of the American fabric then. But then it weaved in with these monsters and this like amazing stories type thing, H.P. Lovecraft universe, and every episode. So basically, it was like an anthology, but it was all connected to the same story, and visually, it was just fucking great. Like everything about it, like every episode was just like this new adventure, and some episodes felt like, the Goonies, others felt like, fucking Ash vs. the Evil Dead or something.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. You finished the series?
Yeah, I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I did quite enjoy it. My issues with it have nothing to do with probably whoever you're talking about's issues.
Yeah, he's on Adderall. So
I didn't love it so much that I was like chomping at the bit to then know the next thing about it. I liked it. Hey, it's a Sunday night. I definitely enjoyed it. I thought visually it was. I mean, some of the effects that they pulled off were super interesting.
Yeah.
But these little aspects of it where it's like, oh, we're in Boston. Oh, wait, all of a sudden we reappear back in Chicago. Like those are weird parts of it where I'm like, the suspense of reality. Sure, they do it in Game of Thrones. Whatever. I get it. I loved actually when the one woman got transported into the cosmos and became like Space Wonder Woman. That was actually really sick.
So cool.
Yeah, I really liked a lot of aspects, but just, and a lot of it's just the thing. I was really loving it. And then the last episode, and it'll be the case of other things I talk about, just kind of sank it a little bit for me where it just like, oh, that's what it's going to be. Like Raised by Wolves, I thought was an awesome show. And that's the last episode. And I think the whole show sucks now. You know what I mean? So like, that's kind of what did it to me. Although not on that extreme level,
Yeah. So if there's one hole I could punch in that show is definitely, it is at times like if you got a text message and you look down for a second and you looked up, you're like, wait, I don't even want to, what's going on here? It was a little hard to follow. I just thought it was because I was like, half a moron. And so it was just like that part of it. But I think just visually, just going along for the ride, as far as like the grand scheme of like TV shows in general, I'm thinking like, wow, you guys achieved something that was just pretty fucking unique. And I thought overall the ride was just not more important, but more entertaining to me than the actual story importance.
Yeah. I always love the I'm my own grandfather paradox. Like that's always great, but
that
then,
old gag.
That could have been like the big reveal at the end. And then they had that final episode where it just got like really mustache twirly villain of the week type shit where it's like, all right, whatever. Like,
yeah. All right. So moving forward, we're up to number 3 TV show of 2020, Brian Marr.
Well, this is where I will drop The Mandalorian, which I think could have been a little higher, which I loved it. I think I loved the first season, I think, a bit more. But my favorite episode of the whole show was the first episode of the second season. I loved it. I thought it was incredible. But then, you know, there were a lot of things I really did dig about it. I liked them including characters from the other mediums, like the Clone Wars and other shit. But just the last episode, like Parker loved it. For me, it was like such a over-the-top fan servicey circle jerk that I was almost like, you know, and then the big reveal, you know, I don't want to spoil it if anyone doesn't watch or anything, but it was just like,
I haven't seen it yet.
This is what's happening. You know, and it was, you know, it was, I like the idea of what they did. I like that the epicness they went for, you know, but it almost seemed like an apology to super fans and like, you know, the crying Rotten Tomatoes man boys and shit. You know what I mean? To me.
Oh yeah. Dave Cassell. I'll shout him out. If you don't want to name names, I'll name them.
Whoever, you know, the Jake Skywalker faction. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. You know, I feel like I don't want to call it pandering because it wasn't on that level per se, but there were just aspects of it that looked like a fan film, especially the post-credit scene. Just looked like something, you know, that would have premiered on like a conspiracy YouTube channel, you know?
Cool. Wow. I started watching The Mandalorian, I guess when the first season came out, and like by episode 6, you know, because it's like a weekly thing. I just found myself like watching, maybe like when Gina Carano showed up, I was like, oh, that's cool. And next week I was like, I just never went back to it. It wasn't something that I felt compelled to watch. I didn't hate it. But I think somewhere along the way, I think I just fell out of that Star Wars love, that universe. Like I just don't care anymore. Like if it's on, I'll watch it. I thought the Baby Yoda thing was cool, but like, I don't know. As time went on, I think there's just so much stuff to watch that everything that isn't top tier just isn't going to get the attention. You know,
I mean, this show is, to me, I mean, globally probably top tier. I mean, it's the flagship of an entire streaming network.
I meant as far as like personal preference.
Yeah.
For
but
me,
I mean,
like, you know, like it's not something, you know, like I'd rather watch something like Gangs of London than I would The Mandalorian. I don't know why. It's just, as time goes on, like I don't care about that universe anymore. So.
Well, you're not gonna be able to avoid it since they announced 46 new shows are coming out last week, basically.
Can't wait. Langan, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, well, let me get this straight. Is this shows that just wrapped this year and came out, or it's just shows you watched in 2020?
I thought it was shows that came out in 2020.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
No, but that's fine. If you want to mention, I said, if you don't have anything and you want to just chime in.
Well, I don't know if this came out technically in 2020, but the Vice news series that
on Showtime,
The Devil You Know, about that
good. Pazuzu,
Satanist guy.
Yeah,
Pazuzu. Yes,
that's on Showtime.
No. So you can get that on YouTube. Like it's
Vice got dropped from HBO, and then I don't know, Vice themselves I fell off on because it got too.
I don't like Vice really whatsoever.
Horrible. Like
I don't like them as a really. I don't like go to them and click no matter what it is. But it came recommended to me. The best thing I ever liked on Vice before was when the guy from Golgoroth made them march up that mountain, that black metal guy.
That was a great fucking episode.
But besides that, but anyway, about this Satanist guy down, I don't remember. North Carolina, correct. And a little cult that he had in the suburb. Fascinating little true crime kind of.
Yeah, he was like Charles Manson light.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing he didn't have as good a press team. Didn't have a good marketing.
I would highly recommend it. It's going way back. One thing that Vice did awesome was before like they were like huge or anything. Like maybe it's like 6 or 7 years old. If it's still on YouTube or their channel, it's called The Vice Guide to Liberia, and it's the most.
I've seen that.
Insane. How insane is that?
Because I think Documentary Now, which is another brilliant show, I think did a spoof on. Kind of like the Vice journalist going to like an unsafe area, basically.
General Buck Naked and all that.
Bill Hader and who else? Fred Armisen series, which is also I gotta highly recommend if no one's seen that documentary now. But
yeah, the Pazuzu thing is up. Like you could just type up Vice and
I saw it on YouTube. Yeah,
because I put it up in the group.
That's you're probably the one that hit me to it.
Yeah, I
But,
put it up in the group, and it was like, I mean, it was maybe like an episode too long, but it's just,
yeah, they could have trimmed it a little bit.
they could have trimmed it, yeah, but it was definitely. I love Vice. I love the stuff that they do. I everything that it's just.
They do the Dark Side of the Ring, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah, that was
There's a lot of great stuff
that
that
was
they
this year.
do, but I'm not. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes they're a little too pretentious and like don't have a right to be kind of thing for me. But I have seen some great programming from them though.
That show with the chemist dude, Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia, where you watch people smoke toad venom in
Yeah, that was
the
good.
Sonoran Desert and ride around it.
Yeah.
I take some chances, that's for sure.
Parker, you don't have the Dark Side of the whatever the fuck on your list?
No, I mean, I watched a couple of them on YouTube. Being the wrestling fan that I am, I didn't actually watch every single one. I mean,
I did, and I hate wrestling.
Yeah, I know. Like the Chris Benoit. Well, like Chris Benoit, like I knew the majority of the story, so like I watched that. But that fucking New Jack episode was fucking crazy, man.
It's not Benoit?
No,
Bruiser Brody's
yeah,
a good one too, man.
Yeah, but
Bruiser
New Jack
Brody.
was fucking crazy. I mean, I remember I saw that guy wrestle in person when I went to go see ECW when they were still doing it in like fucking high schools, and he was fucking,
Sandman, dude, Lost Battalion Hall.
yeah, man, it was fucking crazy.
So what's next on your list? Number 3, Parker.
Number 3 on Netflix, I watched this show called High Score, which was talked about all the old school video game systems. So that's everything from like Nintendo. They got into like the early Sega Genesis. So that was pretty cool. They got into like a couple of the earlier games and how all these companies tried to outdo each other with the 8-bit systems, and the 16-bit systems came out, and so on and so forth.
I saw that. That was a good one.
That was good. And I don't really go to Netflix for much. I think they're the weakest streaming site for sure.
Totally agreed. Best for stand-up though.
No, they're very good at certain things. But this is one of those things. They're good at like the movies that made us, the video games, all that other stuff. The shit that like people our age will fucking go snort lines of. It's like, oh my god, it's like video
Team
games.
Tubi, baby.
Yeah. They're very good at that. So I have number 3 favorite TV show of 2020. This show blew my fucking socks off. Dave. It's on FXX, and it's Little Dicky. It's kind of like a Larry Sanders version of Little Dicky, who's like a rapper, and it's his life and how he met his hype man. And at first I have, just like you, Lang, and know when it comes to hip hop, we're kind of snobby, and we don't like people to, same thing with metal, when we feel like they're kind of like hijacking the culture to make it corny. I'm just like, whatever. And that's kind of how I felt about Lil Dicky. I'm like, you're a joke rapper. It's cool. Whatever. You're white Jewish guy.
He's got skills though.
That's what it was. He won me over with this show. He won me over with his actual appreciation. Like, he's a real fan.
He's got some good freestyles on YouTube.
Yeah, he's really good. So this show, I mean, listen, it's my number 3 show of the year. You could watch it on Hulu. It's so good. There's a mental health episode in it that just will fucking hit you in the stomach. It's such a great show. Just about music and this guy starting out and believing in himself, but he's such a Larry David type character. What am I saying? I said Larry Sanders. This is like a hip hop Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's what this is.
I'm writing that down, man.
Very good. Very good show. So,
I'll let you know a year from now when we do next year's show.
So number 2 show for Brian Marr.
Netflix. It's called The Queen's Gambit. Anyone's seen that?
Yeah,
I'm the last person I think in the country that hasn't seen that.
Anna Taylor-Joy or whatever the girl.
I love her.
Cinematically, the sickest thing I've seen in years. The way it was shot. I mean, it was like a Scorsese film. It was awesome. And I first like, all right, the idea of like a chess prodigy show, like making chess exciting. But 2 of my good friends were like, you have to watch this fucking show. It's just gonna blow your fucking mind. And I gave the first episode a try, and I was like, holy shit, man. And it was like sucked in. It was incredible acting. It was, just like, again, as a period piece, the things they nailed, like in Vegas and New York, just like the way it looked was incredible. Like, it really did. Made chess super exciting. It was crazy, And that also, the main character. You don't often see like a character who usually someone gets caught doing something, whatever, they try to cover it up. Anything she did, she's like, yeah, I'm fucking dudes. Yeah, I'm getting wasted. Yeah, whatever. Like unapologetic and super honest, which you just don't see in a lot of shows.
Oh,
which I thought was refreshing, you
Do
know?
you want to know what show has that? You're the worst.
Yeah.
Very unapologetic. We're doing drugs. We're fucking basically anyone we want. But yeah, so Anya Taylor-Joy is the main character of that show. She was in the movie The Witch. She was in a movie called Thoroughbreds. We just mentioned it on the last segment. She's having a great year. The Queen's Gambit is like, you know, top 10 show. Like everyone keeps mentioning it. My girlfriend watched it. I watched it by proxy, and I realized just how much work was put into it. Visually gorgeous, the sets, the outfits, completely. You know, so very cool. Number 2, Langan. Do you have anything that you saw that didn't come out this year?
You know what? I'm scrolling through my IMDb, seeing what I did watch this year.
Yeah.
I just don't want to put out a list like I watched this year, but I don't have a strong feeling about it. But anyway, I saw a couple of things that I forgot about, and this was a big talk like when it came out. But it's kind of like 2020 has been such a long year. It's like I'm a Tiger King. I got to give a mention.
Oh, that's right. That was this year.
You know, like it was ridiculous. It was stupid. It was full of awful people. But I don't watch reality television, and I would imagine that's what the rush you get from watching it. These train wrecks of people. And listen, the memes were fucking great.
The guy with the 6 teeth. The guy with the 6 teeth with no shirt on, and it said this many feet apart, so they counted as 6 teeth.
I remember that one, and then the Maroon 5 guy, like before and him after, like what happened. But
the evolution.
I don't know where to start. It caught a thirsty generation at the right time because nobody. It was fucking horrible, but it was fun. It was goofy. It was stupid, and it was at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was kind of what I needed.
I mean, had that dropped at a different time, could it have been as successful? I mean,
it would have been a blip.
It would have been a blip. Yeah, I think it would have been a blip.
But it dropped right when everyone was being forced to stay home.
Everyone was definitely forced to stay home, and you're like, what are we going to watch? And it's like...
And it was something we all shared together, and how awful these people are. You know? So I got to mention it.
No, that's a great
put it up with.
But I wonder if it's like psychological.
Am I going to put it up with The Sopranos? No, but you know, I got to mention.
I wonder if even there's like a psychological analog to these are people that are terrible. They're entrapping tigers in cages. They're turning out kids and basically making them into their man whores and shit. Like this, the claustrophobia of the entire existence of it. Is this person a fucking murderer? Like I think all these things.
Fuck Carol Baskins, bro.
Reality, you know, like.
Yeah, she was on Married. No, what is that show? The Dancing
Stars.
Show? Dancing with the Stars. I said Married with Children.
It's insane where we're at. You know,
it's a fucking murderer.
That show exists to begin with, and then she was on it. I don't know where we're going, but
she likes fame so much that she's just like, I might have murdered my husband, but man, I really want to be on this show. Because if I killed anyone, I'd be like, I'm not going to be on any fucking show. You guys are going to forget.
He's already dead.
But also,
mind if you like
a murdering gold digger, crystal clutching, zookeeper poacher. Like, I mean, that's America, you know?
That's quite a checklist.
He's horrible. Everybody's horrible.
What a checklist. What a checklist to have.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it this year.
That's a good one. Parker, that wasn't your number 1, was it?
No, I actually didn't even fucking see that.
All right.
You'd love it.
I know, I'm sure.
I love it. Sure. Take the kids. Take the family.
Give me your number 2.
So number 2 is an offshoot off of another show that I watched, but I actually like this better. And this guy was a sub character on that show, and this thing's called Better Call Saul.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I fucking love this show. I mean, Breaking Bad was cool. I dug it. I watched it. But something about this show, I like it 10 times better. I think just
wow.
Yeah, I think just the guy that plays Saul Goodman, he just does this fucking character just so well. And just, I don't know, just every episode, I just have such a fucking blast watching him play this guy.
Bob Odenkirk's a national treasure, and I'm so happy that he's getting all this, like, shine, because from the jump, missed the show, all the great stuff he's done, I'm so glad he's killing.
He just did some fucking John Wick type movie, didn't he?
Yeah.
The trailer came out.
Next year, I believe. But
It's called Nothing.
yes, that's it.
Yeah. Cool. So, my number 2.
You're forgetting yourself.
I know I do. So for me, Ozark season 3.
No, that's my number 1 right there.
Okay, yeah. So I figured it would be. I know you got a big crush on Jason.
My fucking man crush Bateman, baby.
Oh, boy.
All right. Well, I'll be a little different, and I'll say I have a crush on his wife. You know.
Nice.
Call me
No
crazy.
homo.
But Laura Linney is, she's a very attractive older lady. I thought the first season was great. I thought the second season was good. This third season, I feel like it really picked up, and I feel like they really went for it. One of the best endings, great use of Run the Jewels, new song. Just, man, you see Laura Linney really, Wendy Bird go into her own and just turn into this like really ruthless character. And there were some scenes.
Monster, dude.
Monster, right? Yeah. But I love that. I think that's so cool. She was so G, I love that. She was I don't know, man. I love that. She was hardcore. I like the lawyer. All the great characters, that old lady who was banging that younger ugly dude that looked like a long neck or whatever his name is.
For me, I thought it was all right, but the last 5 minutes was so fucking insane that's what you're left with. That I could see it, but I don't know if I don't know the whole season warranted that level. I don't know, I don't know.
I'm a Neanderthal. I like sex and violence, and if you throw in hip hop music, I don't know. That's it. I'm not very I'm not a bright person. I know you're a thoughtful person.
I wish I had your fucking song.
Stop killing yourself.
I'm just saying. I'm just I'm easy to please when it comes to.
Sound like that Chris Farley character on us. I'm not a bright person.
I'm not a bright person. So Parker, anything you want to add to that?
I mean, the reason why I love this show, it's like every episode, it's like watching Uncut Gems as like a series. Like you're just fucking sitting on your edge of your seat, like you just feel fucking uncomfortable, and it's awesome.
Yeah. All right. That's his number 1. That's my number 2. So your number 1, Brian Mark.
Quick honorable mention, because I just thought if you want to feel anxiety and uncomfortable, watch on HBO How To with John Wilson. It's like this weird documentary where he just kind of uses his B-roll to tell a story. And it's like how to make small talk, how to drape your shows. But then he's got like B-roll of cops cleaning up a stabbing scene and dumpsters and shit. I don't know.
Oh shit.
Fucking dark. It's
a dark show, yeah.
Yeah, it's just really funny. But yeah, for me, my number 1, embracing my inner emo boy, I had to go with Umbrella Academy. It's just, I think it was better than any superhero type shit I've seen in years. It's so dark. The characters are insane. They're their own worst enemies. They're the reason for every problem, but yet they're hysterical. And they did time travel better than most time travel's ever done, besides Back to the Future, maybe. I don't know. I just loved this season. I thought it was so well written, and it was actually, and it made me feel things,
Yeah.
It was great.
Gerard Way.
Yeah. I mean, I know nothing about the comic. I don't know anything about it other than the guy from My Chemical Romance wrote it, but it's fucking insane. The actors are sick, and I like the first season, whatever. So I came in for the second one, and the second one blew my mind. It was like the Empire Strikes Back of seasons. I don't know. It's the only way to put it. It was killer.
Very cool. That's your number 1. So do you want to add anything, Langan? Or
I do actually. Something I completely forgot I saw. The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Documentary series, whatever you call it, on ESPN, and I don't remember where it was cool. I don't really follow the NBA anymore, but in the 90s, I watched the fuck out of it. I was way into it. It was a great era, and I remember the image of Michael Jordan and the commercials and this and that. But it was cool to see him speak like a normal person. His real feelings about playing with this guy, that guy, same motherfucker. Hearing Michael Jordan, just being a real person for once instead of the entity that is Air Jordan or whatever. And in that whole heyday, if you were a fan of the NBA at that time, and for me, hip hop, NBA, it was just a great time in the 90s, merging all those cultures. And it was a nostalgic thing to watch. But it was cool to hear all the inside stories on all these things. But really, honestly spoke, and it's really well shot, and if you're nostalgic towards that era, it's a great watch. Perfect watch.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to have liked that. I'm gonna let Neil in real quick. Hold on. Hey.
Oh shit.
Hey Neil, just hang out for a minute. We're just finishing up here.
You're gonna finish sucking me off, and then I'm out.
Yeah. I brought him in.
One at a time, boys.
I brought him in for a minute. So yeah, a lot of people love The Last Dance. So that was a great mention. So I guess I'm the last one, right? Because Parker gave his number one. So my number one TV show is a Hulu original. I love the movie High Fidelity. I thought I would hate the series High Fidelity, and I found 10 episodes, and it was just fantastic. I couldn't believe how much I loved it. 10 episodes of just, the characters are great, the music is great. Once you overlook the fact that it's just different people playing these characters, like I hook, line, and sinker. I can't wait for season 2. Absolutely loved it. I can't recommend it more. If you're a fan of music, if you're a fan of, occasional topless women, I loved it completely. Yeah. I was going to go further. I was going to go further, but I'm like, Neil's in the house. I can't disrespect. But I brought him in real quick because Neil, you love a show that I haven't gotten a chance to watch.
Oh, my number one is Ted Lasso.
Yeah, Ted Lasso.
100%.
So what is it about the show that you loved?
It's super well done. Jason Sudeikis nails the character. He's like, literally everyone in the show is likable. Like there's like conflicts within they write the conflicts in a way where you're like both, like you hope they resolve it. You don't want a battle. You want it to resolve because like everyone's likable. You want to root for everyone. It's hilarious and super touching. It's like,
okay,
it's amazing. It's
that's when a show's good. I
was blown away.
I mentioned You're the Worst, which I feel is that, and as well as Dave. I mentioned Dave. Dave was my number 3.
Oh, no one mentioned. No, yeah, Dave was super well done too.
Like touching, but
yeah,
fun.
And poignant, and like the character development is unbelievable. Like they really like dedicated a whole episode to a bunch of different characters to really show you who everyone was.
Yep,
fantastic.
Really, so Brian Marr. Third appearance on the show. Yeah. Like
I'm on the watch. I'm coming for that MVP, man. I'm gonna surpass him one day.
I apologize for us having absolutely zero fan base, so it does nothing for your career. But other than that,
this could be the show, though. Could be the one.
I miss you guys, though. It just sucks, like not getting to hang out, like play shows, all the shit we usually get to do. But
I agree.
Be back, right?
Basement, with my pet monster.
Yo, straight up.
Cool, man. So we're gonna peace out, and then we're gonna move on with Neil.
Oh, yeah. You guys have fun. Have a good one. Peace.
All right. Bye.
Later, man.
Later.